Hi everyone, welcome back to Isola.design and welcome to our last appointment with the students of the MA Biodesign of Central St. Martin's. Today we're going to talk about rooted connection, co-design, cultures and local communities with our guests, Paola and Moises. So welcome our guests.
Hi,
Hi.
hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good, very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. It's super nice to have the conversation with you. And first of all, I would ask you to introduce yourself a little bit and talk about your project for your graduation, because we know that you just graduated. And so that's it. Paula, if you want to start.
Yeah, sure. So, well, my name is Paula, and yeah, I'm coming from Spain. Specifically, I'm coming from a region in Spain that is like located in the top of Portugal. It's called Galicia, and in fact, my whole project is based like in this small region. So, through my project, I was looking at to this local contest in Galicia and how through biodesign we could um, help help regenerate the crafts and the techniques that are present like in basketry. Yeah, that's basically about me.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Moises.
I'm Moises. I'm a Colombian designer. I'm currently, since the masters and everything, I spent the 2 years in London, and I've been working with communities and more like participatory design and graphic design. And in this case, since all this pandemic happened and everything, I focus on a local context. In this case, I work with a local community of the east side of London, that they work in open areas, in parks and everything. So I started involving them and do a co-creation with them and teaching, like it was like a co-teaching as well. They were teaching me and I was teaching them the body design processes and tools that they can apply for the initiatives that they already have. So yeah, that's the
Yeah, thank you so much. And talking about biodesign, I think one of my first questions would be how can science and the design method can work together, and which are the challenges that you had to face during this process? Paula.
Yeah, sure. So first, like I will say that I understand biodesign as a collaboration process because it's like a collaboration process between design and science, right? So looking into my project, I will say like the process is like, okay, how we look into local context and how we can apply our science knowledge into it, and then how we can give value to this environment through biodesign, through design. So that's basically like the process. And then main challenges, I will say again, like as well, I said like in this talk 2 weeks ago with Cynthia, that is like this vocabulary, this language, how to learn this vocabulary, science vocabulary to communicate with the
Yeah,
science people.
yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you so much. Moises?
Yeah, so in this case, I see it like more like as an intersection of different fields. So it's very interesting because you have like a very like sharing of information, of knowledge, which is really interesting. And at the same time, like yeah, you face these challenges of like how do you transmit that knowledge?
Yeah.
In this case, everyone has, even like scientists or even local people have their own ways of understanding and communicating their ideas or like their own knowledge. So it was interesting to see that us as biodesigners can be like the bridge between how they communicate, how these other fields communicate, and how as a designers communicate. So it was interesting to know that even though we had these challenges of like how do we know this language, or how do we understand this science, because at the end of the day we're designers, we're not like scientists or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So it was interesting to get to know to into like that middle point and being like, okay, so we connect this community with these tools, with these scientists, with the design process. So it was really
Yeah,
interesting.
exactly.
I mean, that was challenging.
Yeah, I'm sure it was challenging. Just merge these two very different fields
Yeah.
in just one project. Yeah. And which kind of design method and methodologies did you use for your project?
So I think I know. We can have like maybe like a kind of similar process in our project,
Mm-hmm.
like how we look into
Yeah.
this local context, how we understand the problematic that is like in this environment, then how we apply science to it, and we got like an innovation through science, and then it's like going back again, like okay, to
Yeah.
this local context, what we can do with this science is like how we can give value to this local context to this local community with our knowledge
Yeah.
that we got like through science, and then is when we play our role as designers, right? For example, for
Mm-hmm.
me, like in the design part, it was also
Yeah.
again coming back to the local context because I was looking into the tradition, like the culture, into elements present in the Galician culture, and how through biodesign I apply them into the final outcome, into the design.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Thank you, Moises.
Yeah, in this case, I think one of the key tools or like ways of in which we connect with the people and start developing the project was also doing like an ethnographic kind of
Mm-hmm.
study and design, because at the end of the day, it's also like people relationships and like how we socialize and how is the connection with the community or with us or with the scientist or
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
actor it is, and also this ethnographic kind of study and tools made us understand which are like the agents, which are the actors, which are all this like little parts of the whole system. Because at the end of the day, this these communities and everything work as a system,
Hmm.
and
Exactly.
we as bio
Yeah.
designers also brought like upgrade or a different way of conceiving that system.
Hmm.
So it was really important to understand how it's working right now, what are the things that are like missing or like what can be improved,
Hmm.
and which are the elements that work inside. So in that sense, yeah, it's more than just applying the science or the
Hmm.
microorganisms. It was also understanding the context, as Paula says as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a collaboration between humans and non-humans. We
Hmm.
have humans that are the people that we design for or we collaborate with, and then we have the non-humans, like Moises was working with mycelium, me, I was working with chitosan, I was using a fermentation
Okay.
process. So it's like
Yeah.
a kind of a holistic design approach. We are looking at every point. We understand like the design process as a system
Hmm.
where we use science,
Yeah.
and then the outcome is a design. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's very complete
Hmm.
process.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, and since you're working like in the present, how did you approach with your project during the pandemic? Did something change in your design process?
In my case, it was interesting because at the beginning I was like, I don't know what to do. In this case,
Yeah.
like everything is closed, and
Yeah.
I initially had a different idea, and since like everything was
Okay.
closed, I couldn't have that approach. So
Okay.
that started very organically. I was okay. I want to do something involving bioremediation, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
like I want to work with someone on the side and like see what can
Yeah.
I do in my local context. So it just came organically working and going to the park, actually doing these mental health works and everything. um, I started like observing this kind of interactions, and the pandemic
Yeah.
changed every single way in which people
Yes.
interact. So the park was like crazy. Like and I don't know if like that happens in Italy or in other parts
No,
of
no, I
Europe.
couldn't agree more. Honestly, I
But like,
couldn't agree more. It
yeah,
was
but the parks
yes.
were a mess. Like they had a lot of
Yeah.
garbage and everything, and they were actually deteriorating. So I was like, okay, maybe I
Yeah.
can work. And then I working alongside a community that also found the problems, and they were doing like litter pickings and everything. I was like, okay, maybe we can improve this and actually make it as a
Yeah.
system, like not just like okay, let's solve this and that's it, and just like one way, just like okay, how we can be more circular and more like integrating everyone into a system and
Yeah. Yeah. It was
relearning
honestly yes a
relearning.
crazy time.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it was a different way of approaching, definitely in the design process, and I think in general that happens to a lot of people as well.
Yeah.
But that's the resilience in a way, like how
Hmm.
you can adapt. And
Yes, we all had to adapt to
yeah.
like a new
Yeah.
life, and we didn't really have time to really understand what was going on. So this is why I was really curious to know how did you change like your project, because we all had to change something
Hmm.
in the way we were living, the way we were working, and do everything, and we
Hmm.
didn't really have time to understand what was what
Yeah.
was going on around us. Yeah.
Hmm.
And Paula, what do you think?
Yeah, I super agree with Moises.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, I have to. Yeah, I think the key word was like adaptation, how we adapt suddenly to a new circumstance, something very new for us. And I want to say that it helped me. Yeah, helped me. I want to say, yeah, I want to use this word because it helped me to
Yeah.
think more locally, I would say,
Okay.
and also to open, yeah, like the collaboration with local people, with local communities that maybe I never thought about it before.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, it was kind of like the silver lining if we want to find like something positive on the situation that
Hmm.
we focus more on the local
Yeah.
things that was around us that we didn't really see before
Yep.
because we are used to another kind of life. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, talking about collaboration, how important was collaboration for your process and for your project?
I think it was like 100%,
Yes.
like literally.
For our projects,
Yeah,
100%.
with
and
everything.
and the idea, I think it's more magical, not just like produce a project
Hmm.
and like
Mhm. Yeah.
find a material or something. It's just like the meaning and the like the value that it gives to
Hmm.
this specific community. Like for me
Yeah.
personally, that's more like the most fulfilling feeling ever. Like
Yeah.
seeing that they enjoy it and they see like they can have these strategies applied into their context and actually learn and didn't even know that this could exist and everything.
Hmm.
That was really wholesome for me, and like I don't know, I really enjoyed yeah, like watching them being part of the project and actually
Yeah.
owning and saying like, okay, we did this and we co-created this. I think that was really like the silver lining of the whole project, and it's 100% community,
Yeah.
100%
Hmm.
collaboration in this case.
And it's a beautiful process.
Yeah.
It's beautiful
Yeah.
to exchange knowledge with other people, exchange knowledge with science, exchange knowledge with basket makers. For me, for my
Hmm.
case, I think it's like just a beautiful process. Honestly,
Yeah.
Yes, the connection. I
yeah,
think
the
it became
connection.
really part, like an important part to your
Yeah,
project.
and
So
also
that, that's
it's very important collaboration
yeah.
to keep the knowledge for future generations because yeah, like we understood like the process, like in my case, like understood like the techniques that
Hmm.
the basket makers they were applying, like traditional techniques that they are disappearing right now because
Yeah.
of different circumstances. So I could understood these techniques and I learned them. Now I know how to
Mhm.
apply them.
Yeah.
We apply them through biodesign. That yeah, I think it made it even more beautiful, and also how we could integrate at the same time new like biotechniques, like an extrusion system, like into basketry. So
Yeah.
yeah, collaboration is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good.
No, I agree. Yes, I completely agree. That's very fascinating, actually. And thank you so much for sharing this with us. And so, what are like the differences between regular design and a scientific process for you? What's like the main differences with biodesign?
uh,
Yeah, you go. You
I
start.
think I think it's not a matter of like seeing those as two different systems. It's like
Okay.
how each step of the design process, or in this case the bio design thinking process,
Mm-hmm.
can be applied into different stages. In this case, like
Okay.
our projects did not were like entirely science all the
Mm,
time. Like
Yeah.
we knew that we had to apply science in this case, and we knew specifically in which stage, and
mm,
we
Mhm.
understood and we
Yeah.
talked with scientists, and we knew like until which point we can apply them, but also like understanding that it's just a phase. Like there's a lot of stages along the bio design
Hmm.
thinking process. So in this case, maybe the science part was related more in the understanding of the material, like how we're gonna end up using or designing the product. But
Yeah.
beforehand, you had also the first step of observation, of
mm,
understanding how is the local context, and then you start like having insights, understanding how is in this case Paula with the basket makers, how was all the technique and the process of making, and in my case, how the community was working with the actual problems of the leader. So it was like a part of a step. Like I think every single, like it's not like conceiving it as okay, this is the science part and this is the design.
Mm.
It's more like okay, how you can yeah, like how it can relate to the design and science, like just
Yeah.
like different branches of in the project, not only like
Yeah.
on science based or design
Yeah,
based.
it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
system at the end.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, I'm sure there was a research process before.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, there is a lot
And
of research.
Also,
yeah,
like we
how
had
how
the
did it
technician.
happen? Yeah.
Yeah, that he was always like supervising that the science makes sense and it's not like
Yeah.
okay, this can't be done or this is just speculative or something. So we also wanted to like not just do something just because I'm like, oh yeah, this is magic
Yeah.
wand. That's not like
Yeah.
we try to be land based and okay,
Hmm.
grounded. Yeah.
Yeah. So how does it work? So you do like your research for you, like separate individually, and then how do you share a knowledge? Like, how did your collaboration between the two of you worked for the project?
So yeah, like first we start with individual research by
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. Of course, like we have different preferences, each of
Yeah.
us, and that once that we have like this research done, we go to the technician like, hey, I have this
Okay.
idea. What do you think about
Okay.
this? And then is when he put everything, we land
Okay.
Yeah.
everything, and we'll be like, okay, this is possible. This is not possible. And
Okay.
also we have to think that there is a main like main difference that is between a design project and a biodesign project, and is the time.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
a
Okay.
biodesign project, it takes more time than just only one design, like a design project. And the difference is
Okay.
that you will start growing something, and then you will like make something from it. So when you grow
Mm-hmm.
something, it takes time, and
Yeah.
also of course you
It's a
will
lot
have
of
failures,
yeah.
and it's a
Yeah.
learning process. You are working with this living system for first time, so it will take time. You have to take care of it,
Of
and
course.
then is when you can start to think about design.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of variables. Like yeah, like the microorganism itself also gives you a lot of uncertainty. Even though
Mm-hmm.
you can check all the scientific papers and understand how it works, when you're like experimenting,
Yeah.
there's always gonna be a chance of failure.
Yeah. Of
And
course.
at the same time, like it's the way also you conceive the failure, because
Hmm.
sometimes it's not failure per se, it's just learning. Because like maybe next time you can like, okay, I did this, so maybe I have to redo this by doing
Mm-hmm.
this. So it was really interesting, and it depends also on the project. I think
Yeah.
not only us, but in general, every single student had their own different approach,
Hmm.
and they
Of
have their own
course. Yeah.
different context. So maybe for us was in the stage of like applying it to the product. Maybe for the ones who was just understanding before, and maybe it was understanding a microorganisms before actually connecting with the final idea, or like everyone can do a different like approach to the project, and it's totally fine as long as it's connected and
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense. Like it doesn't just like okay, just works, and that's because I said so, not because you're like fundamented with science or like with someone that can actually say okay, you can do this and you can not do this. So
Yes, it takes time and it takes a lot of
yeah,
patience, I guess,
Yeah.
and also patience because
Yeah.
uh, you have to take day by day and see the result.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how would you like to convey this knowledge that you have to the next generation?
So I think communication, like it has to be like a free transmission system between
Mhm.
us, the ones that are coming next.
Yeah.
So yes, and also I feel like a learning process has to be related with connection. So for example, like in my project, I was relating like two industries, right? I was relating like the
Mhm.
food industry with the basketry. So it's like
Mhm.
about how we can connect different industries between them, and how we can exchange knowledge uh, for the future generations that are
Yeah.
coming next, and also how we can make attractive like this knowledge for future generations. For example, how we can introduce like new tools, yeah, new tools like
Mhm.
structural systems, 3D printing for these new generations.
Yeah.
If at the same time we can keep the past, the past knowledge, I think is it's amazing.
Yeah. Yes, and I think it's something that we really have to do because there are a lot of new things right now. I think the next generation is very, very different from what we are used to.
Yeah.
And everything, as I was saying before, it's going really fast,
Hmm.
and so that's why I think it's very great that you want to take like this connection and the old generation, like everything that you know about your generation, you just want to find new tools to pass it to the next generation, and I think it's actually great. It's something that it's needed right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we need to keep like the balance. I think the balance
Yeah,
between the
yeah.
past and the future. So then is when it will make sense for the future.
Of course, because it's changed
Yeah.
everything a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So the balance, yeah.
It's also like making them realize that since this is a field that doesn't, yeah, like the name per se doesn't have a lot of history, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's a knowledge that has been there. It's just like the fact that we as social animals, like we need to relate to each other, collaborate with each other,
Yeah.
see like which are the skills that you have and that we have, that we can actually co-create and create something new in a sense. So it's also giving the message that we have to keep acting as key connectors, and also like how we can start like taking the industry one step ahead. That is not only like, hey, you are a product
Yeah.
designer, you are yeah, graphic designer, you are a biologist. It's like telling them you are not just in a box. Like you can
Yeah.
also take the things to the next stage and say, okay, I have this knowledge towards bacteria, so the bacteria can produce this, and maybe a designer has all this knowledge about textiles and everything. So how we
Of
can
course, yeah.
take this and see opportunities where we didn't think it before, because it was like very, I don't like, I don't know if taboo or like, but people were like, okay, I always be my whole life in the lab, and I'm not gonna like
Yeah.
do nobody else. I'm just gonna do my PhD or something. I was like, but there's
Yeah,
so much
like you can
more.
just be one things and you
Yeah,
can be
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
and then you just realize that your whole life is just one thing, and then but you can live a different life connecting with other people and like
Yeah. Yeah.
understanding.
Yes. It's okay. I love it, honestly. Yes, I love what you're saying, and I completely agree with that. Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Guy, for being with us today. It's been very amazing to talk to you, and I really like your project and what you're trying to share, your knowledge and your work. And I really hope to see you in September for Milan
Yes.
Design Week here in Italy. It would be really great to meet in person
Yeah, we
and
will
to
be
chat a
there.
little more. Yeah, yeah, we can't wait, honestly. And so, thank you so much, and good luck for your work and for your future.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye bye.
Ciao.
Bye.